Yes, as you mentioned, this is very personal to me. Afghanistan is a place that I've been 8 times. My son went there. We've been there for 20 years, and I had a lot of experience, not just deploying to Afghanistan, but being embedded and integrated with local Afghans because of the nature of my job. I got to really understand who the Afghan people were, what their goals were for fighting alongside of us, and it just really exposed me to a perspective that maybe a lot of people won't share with me. But one of the things that I continue to hear right now is, have we been successful? Have we not been
Right.
successful in Afghanistan? The White House press secretary, Ms. Psaki, said that this was not considered a military success. I couldn't disagree with her anymore. I mean, I strongly disagree with that statement. And she could speak for herself, even though she wasn't in the military. Um, we did succeed. When the Twin Towers were attacked on 9/11, America responded to send U.S. troops to Afghanistan to seek out those responsible. And we went there and we identified those responsible, and we either captured them or we killed them. And we were successful in that mission. From a conventional roles in the military to special operations units where I was, and I got to witness over 100 missions of going out and capturing and killing these bad guys. We were successful. The problem that happened was, after we were successful, we continued with what we call mission creep.
Yeah.
And we crept and we crept and we crept and we crept, and we kept doing things and expanding our role in areas that we never intended to go there and do. We built the Afghan National Army. We built the Afghan National Police, the ANA and the ANP. We began to police Afghanistan in a way that we didn't intend to do when we got there, in a way that the Afghan people didn't want to be policed. It started off with ISAF, the International Security Assistance Force. And then, we did it as a U.S. service, as a U.S. military service. And then we supported other people doing it. I don't think we ever had a role to do that, but we did.
Yeah.
And we maybe even went a little overboard with attempting to instill democracy in a place that doesn't want democracy,
Right.
And govern the way that we govern the United States. And that should be okay for different places around the world to govern differently than we do. And so I think we really overstepped our presence there. And here we are 20 years later.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody in the veteran community is debating on whether we should or shouldn't leave. I think everyone's like, we've been there 20 years. We paid a lot of, high costs for being there, especially in the lives of Americans, and billions of taxpayer dollars. And yeah, we should leave. The question really lies is, how do we leave?
Yeah.
How do we leave correctly? How do we leave in a way that allows Afghanistan to be successful, that allows the ANA, the Afghan National Army, and the Afghan National Police to be successful when we hand it over to them, which we already handed over to them. And I don't believe we left that way. I believe we left hasty, recklessly, and without a good strategy for handover and for future involvement there. And and I believe the reason it was done, and I can't assume what the presidential administration's reason was, but it appears to me it was a campaign promise, and that we're trying to keep a campaign promise and get America out of Afghanistan. And by doing things fast like that, there's consequences that come from it. What we've done is we created a vacuum of power, and that void is going to be filled, or have a deep desire to be filled by the Taliban. The same people were rooted out of there.
Yeah.
We already seen it. Province after province has been taken over, and the pressure's closing on Kabul. The Afghan National Army and Afghan National Police in some cases have been overrun and killed by the Taliban. In other cases, they've just handed their guns over and surrendered. And we're seeing this unfold right now because of the way that we left.
Yep.
Now, I'm not the commander-in-chief, and I don't plan on ever becoming the commander-in-chief. But, I've been asked a lot on national media, how would I have handled this? How would I leave? A lot of times you bring up problems and you get cornered. And you're like, well,
Sure,
what would you do
sure.
different?
Yeah, what would you do?
So, I think a lot of people would not agree with me, especially people that don't really understand the region. But I don't think America should have left without any presence there. And I've seen the comments. I've been on the news a lot about this, and I made this statement. People are like, that's their war, like Afghanistan. Americans should be giving their lives over Afghanistan, and forget about them, let them fight. I get it. I get where people are coming from, but we have an obligation as a United States military to defend our national security. And sometimes that just isn't on the borders. the National Guard and the Coast Guard can't do that. Sometimes we have to go abroad to do that.
Right.
And we had Bagram Air Force Base that was the strongest, the strongest stronghold in the Middle East. And America had that. And not only did we have that for us, but we had the capacity and ability to support the Afghan National Army and the Afghan National Police through support and advisory roles. We could do that from that base. We could control things and provide support there from that base without ever growing off that base and doing the policing ourselves. And other nations could come in and do that for Afghanistan as well. And they have been. But now we've forfeited that. We gave Bagram Air Force Base up. In addition to that, being able to use it as a stronghold to support Afghanistan and keep Afghanistan stable. In addition to that, by giving it up, we gave away the ability to have that center, that's be in the center of this kind of axis of evil, right? You have Iraq there, you have China, you have Russia, you have Iran. Afghanistan sits in the middle of that. That's why people have been fighting for it for thousands and thousands of years. We had that at Bagram Air Force Base, and we had that stronghold there. Without that, Afghanistan, China, Iraq, they all look at us, and we don't have that presence there. So they're going to be a little more confident. They're going to do things that they normally wouldn't do. If we're right there and have, ability to just reach them so quickly, they may not behave the way they're going to behave. They may not collaborate the way they're going to collaborate. And so we've really given that up. And I think it's a kind of a detrimental mistake strategically for America. And also the consequences go beyond our own interest in the, seeing Afghanistan fail. And the consequence will be, thousands and thousands of Afghan lives. And also we're going to see as Afghanistan's overtaken and Kabul finally falls, because I believe Kabul will fall. We're going to see the Taliban come in, institute its jihadist mentality, their religious ideologies. Sharia law will come back in place. It'll become a hotbed for terrorism. They're going to launch right out of Kabul, which we have control over. They're going to launch, terrorist attacks around the Western world from there. And so maybe we end up back there because of that. Someone will.